This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum.
Well, when you're selling, you got to know who your buyer is and you got to know how to market to them. I do.
And Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding.
Hey, rates are important, but strategy matters more than ever.
For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Hello, and welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. I'm loving our new beat.
Yeah, I like it.
Gets me pumped up.
Yeah, like we need to be pumped up at 3 o'clock.
I know. Well, it's Monday. That's kind of needed.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like the little sound bites.
Yeah.
We've got some more coming for y'all too, so stay tuned.
Yes, we do. Yeah, welcome. If anyone is listening in the car, on the radio, on the AM station, man, woo!
AM radio.
Or
playing it back on video.
Or on video. Watch it on the Skycam.
I was talking to our guest today, or 2 weeks ago, and they're like, wait, you record these? Like, so I'm not only on the air, but they're recorded. So
on video?
It kind of made them nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, with video. And I said, don't worry about it, man. It's
We'll make
it's not
work.
Zoomed in.
Yeah.
And it's not, yeah. So.
Well, you know what they say, radio puts on 10 pounds, so.
Radio? That's why you've been dieting.
Exactly.
By the way, you look really good. How much weight have you lost?
I don't even know. I don't really keep track of it.
Goodness sakes.
I feel good, that's for sure.
So you and I went and had a professional photographer take our photos for the website.
Yeah.
This was like, a year ago for SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. Yeah. You don't even look the same.
I know. We got to redo those photos.
We got to redo those photos.
I'm a little skinnier these days.
Yeah. Good photos, but you look really good. What's the secret, man?
I don't drink as much beer.
Okay.
Only really drink wine.
Yeah. Okay, wine.
Yeah, red wine.
Yeah.
Watching what I eat. Just I'm doing more of the slow carb diet.
Yeah.
So
Tim Ferriss.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Tim Ferriss, slow carb.
So you can't believe everything you see on social media, but I see posts all the time, and they say that 2 glasses of red wine is equivalent to an hour workout at the gym.
Hey, I'm down with that. It must be, because I'm not really working out, and I'm drinking lots of red wine.
I guess I need to tone down the gym and start upping my
your wine intake.
Wine. Yeah. So what do we got going on today?
So today we got some pretty interesting things to cover.
Okay.
So we actually have. I'm going to be talking about the massive increase in Seattle home prices, which have definitely gone up this year or over the last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of go over that and kind of explain to people, hey, in this area, it's gone up this much.
Yeah.
Condos have gone up this much. Here's the new median price. So I'll kind of run that down in just a couple minutes here before we get to the break. And then we're going to have a moving company come on and kind of give people tips on what to look for when you're hiring a moving company. Are you supposed to tip movers? That's always a great question whenever we have any of these people on that we kind of hire.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the etiquette? What are you supposed to do?
We've asked that of a few of our guests
I know.
that are service providers that you wouldn't necessarily think to tip.
Yeah.
And no, that's a good question.
Or you don't know how much.
Yeah, or is it baked in?
Yeah,
Already baked
exactly.
in. No, gratuity.
So it's always good to ask those questions, and we're here to ask the questions that no one else wants to ask because they're too embarrassed.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. We're always talking to people about the show and looking for really high caliber guests, and because you kind of keep me accountable. Hey, who you been talking to? What's going on? So this last week I talked to a mattress company.
Okay.
And what stood out with these guys is every Saturday they put on a mattress 101 course.
Smart.
I was
Sounds
just like,
familiar.
That's what attracted me to them to call them, because I read an ad and I was like, I'm thinking like home buyer education, like home buyer 101 or mortgage 101 or I don't know, how to buy a car 101, but
mattress
101. And when you kind of look at that a little bit more, the mattress that you choose can impact your sleep, how deep a sleep you get, your back. Oh, it was really unique. So stay tuned for these guys. I think they're going to be on. I'm going to have to maybe twist their arm a little bit. Big company, but I love what they're doing.
That's interesting.
Just what we do. We educate.
Well, that's kind of how we run our businesses. We're all about educating you, the consumer, so that you can make smart, educated decisions.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the moving company, Christian. Like, whether or not you've ever hired a moving company or not, moving is a task. Mm-hmm. It's tedious.
Yeah.
And so getting tips on that, I'm excited. I'm excited for today's guest so I can learn more to maybe help our clients. We get a lot of first-time home buyers, a lot of move-up buyers that, what if you could do it a little differently? That could save you some time and energy and frustration. And I know I hate packing.
I know.
And unpacking.
Exactly. Who does like it, though? I mean, seriously.
My wife.
Well, your wife's crazy, though.
She's crazy like that.
Yeah, she is crazy like that. Yeah. She's not just crazy in general. She's just crazy like that.
I think she actually liked it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's insane.
When we moved, much like I think what you guys, when we talked to you guys bought a house last year. We actually audited everything that we had and used that move to either say, hey, we're donating this or we're just, what do you call that?
Purging.
Purging.
Yeah. I mean, we had one of those small 10-foot U-Hauls that we completely packed and dropped off at Value Village. Yeah. And I was just amazed at how much stuff we had that we did not need.
Opportunity to just kind of clean and purge and start from scratch at your new place.
So do you always do that before you move?
Well, we don't move often. But we did this last year. And we did. When we moved into our new house, we built a house. Well, this wasn't last year. What was that, 2013, end of 2013, early 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. But what we did is, our new house was bare for a while. We ordered new furniture and
slowly added to it. Yeah,
we got rid of the old.
Most people do. Yeah. I mean, that's what I recommend to most of my clients when they're buying a house. They're like, man, this house is too big. I can't fit. I don't have enough stuff to fill it. I'm like, that's okay. It's okay. Trust me, you're going to find stuff to fill it. Yeah. And you don't have to have it filled right away.
Well, and if you're a seller right now or you're a buyer right now, you're going to get a lot out of today's show. You're going to get to talk with you, a real estate professional that sells a lot of homes, that can kind of give that advice, just not necessarily your personal advice, but what you see with clients. Clients ask you.
Yep.
You see it with clients. So I'm excited, man. But I want to spend a little bit more time in the intro today on the Seattle Real Estate Minute. I know it's a segment that you do.
Let's break into that.
Let's segment into it. Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to this week's Seattle Real Estate Minute with Christian Nossum.
I love it, man.
I've got new sound effects.
I love it. So, listen, we've made some money now on Seattle Real Estate Radio, so we're upgrading, as you can see.
We can pay a producer or a sound guy to record some new bites for us.
Yeah, you can tell we are rolling.
We're getting up in the game now, finally.
Don't tell our producer, but next thing you know, we're going to be on FM.
I know. FM.
So what's going on out there? I know it's crazy.
It's still crazy.
Define crazy, though. Crazy meaning
it's super competitive. As a seller, so everyone's talking about, this is something that I wanted to kind of go over real quick. Everyone's talking about how, as a buyer, it's crazy, it's hard, it's impossible. No one's flipping the script and saying, as a seller, this is an opportunity. And that's something that, maybe I'll talk about that more on another show. But really today, what I want to talk about is, the MLS, which is the Northwest MLS, that's every real estate agent in the area, 99% of them are members of the Northwest MLS. They keep track of every single stat. So every time a house sells, they know what it sold for, what the original asking price was, all that stuff. So they are the go-to source for stats. They just released this last week. They said, single-family home prices in Seattle jumped 24% over the year to a median of $644,950. So the median price in Seattle now is $645, essentially. That's quite a bit. 24% increase in 1 year from February to February. And part of the reason for that is, we just have tons of jobs. Expedia, they're moving from Bellevue to Seattle, which I saw the renderings of their new office complex that they're going to do. It's pretty sweet. It looks nice. Weyerhaeuser, they're moving from their suburban headquarters, moving to Pioneer Square. Amazon, they open up another building. They just inked a lease last week for an additional 12-story building in South Lake Union that is going to house another 1,400 employees. There's just tons of people coming in that want to live in the area. So it's pretty interesting. King County.
And it's driving up values like, what did you say?
Crazy,
again?
24% in Seattle.
Yeah.
In King County, that's 7% over the peak of 2007. And that's now 29% over the peak for Seattle from 2007.
So we talked last week about that, Christian. What it's pricing certain occupations out of downtown Seattle. What do
Or
these
from the core
of Seattle? Yeah. Do these numbers as compared to 07? Because I'm conservative. I'm super conservative. Do they worry you at all? Like what are your Let's compare. Let's spend a couple of seconds here on comparing.
So part of the reason what the difference is, and the Times actually had a pretty good article about this, and they basically said, the current run-up in prices isn't like the 2007-2008 bubble that we had. And the reason why is because buyers now have more skin in the game. As a lender, how tough it is to get people approved for a loan right now sometimes. If you got the cookie-cutter 9-to-5 normal job, maybe it's not so hard, but anything outside that box, it gets a lot tougher. So you also have to have a little more down payment. I mean, you still got to have 3.5% or 5%, but when prices are so high, that 5% is a little bit bigger number now. So buyers have more skin in the game. It's harder to get a loan. You add all those things up. It's a lot different than the 06, 07 where you literally needed a heartbeat and you could get a loan for whatever number you wanted. It's not the same. So I don't see that happening where it's going to be a crazy bubble bursting. And I just don't see that.
You've got more money coming into real estate than we had in 06 and 07. We had, I guess, artificial money, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then condos, as far as they go, King County condos went up 26% over the year. So, and then downtown Seattle went up 11%. So now the median price in downtown for a condo is almost $600,000, $597,000, $500,000. So, kind of crazy how much prices are going up. It's an opportunity as a seller if you are in that boat. To get going, to get the most money you probably can ever get for your house when you're selling.
So the message is to sellers right now. Let's not focus
messages
on
to
buyers,
sellers.
Okay.
If you're thinking of selling, this is the opportunity. Okay. So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to have Adam French, owner of Adam's Moving Service, on. So stay tuned. Seattle Real Estate Radio.
We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right, hey, you're listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL 1300. I want to welcome you back, and I want you to buckle up because this is going to be awesome, man. During the break, I got to speak with Adam, and this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
This is going to be good.
So we got Adam French, the owner of Adam's Moving Service, here in the studio with us today. And Adam's Moving has helped us move 2 different times now.
Oh, okay.
So we've actually, being a real estate agent, I've been, a part of a lot of people moving.
Oh, yeah.
And I have asked a lot of people, hey, who did you use? Yeah. Who did you like? Who did you not like, more importantly? And over again, I had clients that were saying Adam's Moving was awesome. So we gave them a shot. They were good. We gave them another shot just this last summer. Still good. So that's why I thought, we need to get a moving expert on. We haven't had that conversation yet. We always talk about the spoke, the wheel with the spokes going off the house, and all the different portions of or how do you describe that?
It's super simple, and I built
simple I can't explain it.
Simple. Well, here's the thing. It's a big part of my business model. So what I try to do is I take the home and the mortgage, and that's your hub. Let's talk about a wheel right now.
Yep.
That's your hub, and off of that hub, we've got all these different spokes. And so the way that I explain it to clients is we've got the mortgage banker, myself, the mortgage advisor, myself, the real estate professional. Now I take it a little bit deeper during the pre-approval process, the insurance professional, the financial planner, the CPA. And then where we've really taken it deep with the show, Christian, is now we've tapped into your brain. Okay, I don't show homes. I don't know real estate. Who are all the big players on your side of the fence? Who are all the other big players on ours? And that's where Adam comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So I've heard from numerous people that they were good. Looked them up online. Their reviews are great. And apparently he's been doing it for 13 years, so he's kind of good at what he does. So he started in 2003 after just really beginning with a pickup truck delivering furniture and doing odd jobs from Craigslist when he was an undergrad at UW. 13 years later, the company's grown to 30 employees, and they're taking aim at being the household name for movers in Seattle. So, Adam, thank you very much for being here today.
Hey guys, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm just excited to talk about my moving service and share some moving hints and tips with people that are looking to move.
Cool. So first off, tell us a little bit about Adams Moving and kind of what services you guys provide. Just give us some basics.
Yeah, so we generally move in the Seattle area. We focus on about a 50-mile radius around Seattle. We are a small business. We're not a franchise. You're going to get a small business feel. When you hire our service, you can contact me directly. I also, after every single move, I call every single customer personally and thank them for the business, and I want to hear about their experience and make sure that they had a fantastic experience and if there's anything we can improve on. And that's just something that we really take a lot of pride in, and I feel like it really helps drive future business and long-time customers, and it helps us improve our process along the way as we go on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and
so
I think
really excited about that.
That's similar to how Dan and I run our businesses too. I mean, it's you got to ask people, hey, how are we doing? How did we do? What can we do to improve? And then just keep going and going and going, and you're always improving. So I think that's pretty damn smart.
And be sincere about it too, and take that feedback and really dive into it and improve that process.
So I know for the 2 times that we've used you guys, the people that you guys hire are awesome.
Right.
So how the heck do you do that? Because that's not normal for moving companies to have good employees. So how do you guys go about that?
Yeah, and that's
it's true. They're just kind of like, this guy just picked him up on the side of the road. It seems like sometimes, and they're, you know what I mean?
Right,
so how do you guys do that? What's the story there?
Right. So that's most moving companies. They'll just hire anybody that's a warm body. Will get out there and just
lift stuff.
Lift stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
We take a different approach. We want the best of the best guys that are out there. We pay a few dollars more per hour than any other moving company in Seattle.
Nice.
We have a 401k with a 4% company match, which is unheard of.
Wow.
Yeah, dollar for dollar, 4%. And then we also have health insurance, which no other moving company offers at this point. I mean, some of the big guys do, like Beacons and Allied. They will have some similar benefits, but for a small moving company, it's just unheard of.
Yeah. So you treat your guys right, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, right.
First
So
off.
we have a family, experience. We're a team. We have monthly get-togethers. We had a barbecue on Tuesday. And,
nice.
We had one day without rain, and we just said, "Hey, let's do a barbecue." And so after work, everyone was there. We have a little basketball hoop at our truck lot, and so we were shooting some pig, and it was just a good time. And it's just a team building. We roasted some hot dogs and talked about how things are going out there. And it's a really good way for me to stay in touch with my guys out there and just really keep a finger on the pulse of how it's going. Like, what can we improve on from your guys' side as well?
Exactly. Not just the consumer side, but the employee side.
Right.
I think that's important for any company to pay attention to. Yeah. So clearly, in my opinion, people should hire you guys because I've used you and I've had a great experience. But if someone's out there shopping for a moving company, what kind of things should they look for if they're just, brand new, this is the first time I've moved or hired a moving company, because every other time I just give pizza and beer to my friends and they do it for me.
Yeah. Right.
What should someone look for in a moving company?
Well, I would recommend just putting a message on Facebook and say, "Hey, friends, I'm looking to move. Do you have any recommendations?" I think that's the best advice I can give.
Yep, and that's exactly. So I have my own Facebook group for my clients. It's a closed group, and we all just, anytime someone needs a referral for something, they throw it on that group. So I actually did that for the moving company. And that's where you guys kept popping up and up and up and up. So it's a very similar situation, and it works.
I'd love to hear about that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, Yelp is a great resource. Get on there and you can read about other people's experience as well. We have over 400 reviews on Yelp. We have a 4.5-star rating. We have over 100 reviews more than the next person down.
Nice.
We've already, with calling these people every day after the move, we've generated almost 50 reviews just already in 2016, which is just awesome. So
that's cool.
Just continue that on. And so Yelp is a great one. Better Business Bureau, and you want to make sure that the mover is licensed with the state of Washington. So the website that you want to check out is the Utilities and Transportation Commission. And the moving company is a regulated industry, and so that would be a first place to start as well, just to make sure that the company you're considering has all the necessary licenses and permits.
I did not know that part. That's good to know. That's really good to know. I'm sure there's people out there that are like, I got a moving truck that I just bought.
There's hundreds of people that are doing that.
Yeah,
so
I can move
if
stuff.
something bad happens, you have no recourse, essentially. Right.
Yikes. I'm sure that's liability-wise, that's probably not too good either for someone.
Absolutely.
All right. So how far ahead do people usually need to coordinate with movers, for instance? Like a specific date? Are the weekends busiest? Or are there a certain day of the week, another day of the week that's super busy? How does all that stuff work?
Yeah, so on an annual basis, the moving business is a cyclical business. So we're really busy.
Similar to mine.
March to September, we are just slammed.
Yep.
So you really want to try and plan at least 2 weeks in advance during that time of the year. That's not to say that we can't accommodate next day moves or even same day sometimes even as well.
Wow.
On Saturday mornings, we will get a phone call every Saturday, at least one, that says, hey, this other moving company
didn't show,
stood me up. Can you help out? So
wow.
No, I'm not
That's
kidding. Every
crazy.
single Saturday in that time period, exactly.
Holy cow.
Right. So there's just people out there that are not doing a very good job for people, and you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And that's the same in the moving industry. So you can always find cheaper, but you won't find better than us for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, 2 weeks is the kind of standard for planning a move in that time of the year.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So I know when you guys helped us move this last summer, we have a big leather sectional couch, one of the L-shaped couches.
Okay.
And we're putting it into our downstairs, which is it's kind of like a, I don't know, daylight basement kind of. And we had to, it was tough. So your guys were picking the couch up and trying to get it in this doorway. And there was a big bush like up ahead of them or on top of them. So I had to like get the pruning shears that they had just moved out of the truck and like prune stuff back over them so they could get the couch in.
Okay.
And but they did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was possible. Looking at it, I was like, there's no way that's going to fit. I'm like, dang, we're going to have to sell that couch, get a new one.
Right.
That couch is awesome. I didn't want to do that. But somehow they fit that thing in there with the help of some pruning shears.
Yeah. So, this is a common experience. Every move has the one piece as a challenge.
Exactly.
And the biggest component of that is to just plan ahead, communicate as a team on how we're going to do it. A lot of times we'll put furniture pads on the floor where we have to stand a large couch up and then kind of pull the bottom through the doorway, put furniture pads on banisters. So we've got a lot of equipment that we use to kind of help us navigate this
Jerry-rig stuff around.
Right,
and stuff,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just about planning, training, and communication.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the craziest thing you guys have ever had to move?
There's been some crazy stuff. We've hoisted heavy stuff, several stories.
Using like a pulley system or something?
Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you have that same couch and you live on a third floor, a 3-level townhouse, and you want it on the main floor, for example, on the middle level, it's not going to fit around those tight stairways. So we'll have to pull it up over the banister and
go through that sliding
glass door, right? I'd say the biggest thing we've ever moved would be a Sub-Zero refrigerator, and it was early in my career. And as I've aged and had more time in the business, there's certain things that we will turn down if it poses a safety hazard. So
like a Sub-Zero fridge.
So a Sub-Zero fridge, 700 pounds. Picture it, it's on a lift gate, right? So it comes down.
Yeah.
And then we have very poor equipment in the time, and so we're basically
early on.
We're basically tipping it over, and we got a guy on each corner trying to carry this thing, and boy, when the lift gate started coming down, it started to kind of tip a little bit, and I had 2 guys on the bottom, and I just saw my life flash before my eyes. So very scary. And every time we do something like that, it's a learning lesson, and it's like no more Sub-Zero for us, right?
Sorry, Dan, your Sub-Zero is staying.
That's right.
It's built in for a reason.
I guess when we move, we're going to have to leave the Sub-Zero.
So one quick funny story is some guy called me, and he wanted us to move some really crazy heavy stuff, like 800-pound cabinets.
Jeez.
And I turned it down. I'm like, no, that's a hazard to my guys, and I don't want to get injured. And he's like, well, would you guys help ladies carry grocery bags across the street? Is that what, I mean, you guys are movers, right? So it was a pretty, I'll never forget that one.
What do you guys do?
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's probably someone you don't want to work with anyway.
Right.
So in 30 seconds or less, how did you really get started in this? I know you're at UW.
Right.
Just kind of like a side gig, just trying to make money in college.
Paid tuition. I was living at grandma's house, and she bought me a pickup truck to help her do some dump runs. And Craigslist had just kind of come on the scene, and I found the labor and moving section and put a little ad on there that said, "Hey, hire me $20 an hour." And
at that point, you're
that was good stuff right there.
Well,
right?
I love his business savvy, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little about that.
All right. So we got to take a quick break. Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. Stay tuned after the break.
Stay tuned. There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. We are back with Adam French of Adam's Moving Service, telling us all sorts of tips and tricks and everything you could possibly need to know when you're moving. And he shared some good ones. Yeah. And Dan's got some good questions because I just cheated and looked at your little cheat list.
Some my notes. Well, what we were talking about over the break and what I'm so fascinated by is kind of how you run a moving company like I run a small mortgage company, like you run a small independently owned real estate company.
Exactly.
And so I love the fact that you've got this, obviously you've got a large company, you've got employees, 30 plus employees.
Right.
But I love that you, the owner, actually pick up the phone and call the customer after the move and just say, how was it? What can we do to improve? It was an honor serving you as a player, whatever you might say. But
exactly.
I think that's huge.
Yeah. No,
that's big. And regardless of the feedback, because I do the same, and sometimes it's not what I want to hear.
But you got to do
it.
Yep.
And if you're going to grow and if you're going to continue to stay on top, you got to ask the hard questions and you got to take it sometimes. So I love that about you. And I love what you said about you get what you pay for. Christian and I spend a lot of time in our industries dealing with the same thing. A client, here's the thing. When a client picks up the phone and they call you, you're big on Yelp. I don't have 400 reviews yet, like you, so kudos to that. But I'm big on Yelp. You're big on Yelp, Christian. So somebody picks up the phone and they call one of us. The only thing that we have in common at that point, from a lending standpoint, is what is your rate and what are your fees?
Yep. That's all they know.
That's the common denominator.
Yeah.
And so being able to ask the right questions and to have a more intelligent conversation with them, it's not always about the rate and the fees. There's so many more components to the transaction. There's so many more components to a move than just what are your prices.
Yeah.
So, some of the things that and I love what you said about you get what you pay for. You can always find cheaper, but you won't get a better experience in working with us. So I love that about you, and I wanted to kind of transition into my part of the segment to better edge. Now that our clients know what to expect, our listeners know what to expect, what do they do to prepare for a move? So let's say that Christian's selling their home, it's going to close in 30 days, they're going to call you up. What would you best advise them at that point?
Yeah, so some packing advice that I would give would be to make sure that you have all your boxes are sealed and labeled with the new rooms that you'd like them to be placed in at the new home. If we show up and there's a bunch of miscellaneous stuff out of boxes, odds and ends, that really adds to the cost because we do charge by the hour for moves that are less than 55 miles. It's all billed by the hour. So the more that you can pack and prepare for us, you can also take apart your bed frames. You can also move boxes down from the second level to the main level. You can move stuff out to the garage and get it closer to where the truck is going to park. There's a lot of things that you can do in advance of us arriving to try and save our time and your cost. But we are a full service move. We company. We can even help you pack. But a lot of people don't take the time to do those certain things, and we're happy to do all that for you. But there's things that you can do to try and eliminate or reduce your bill down, and that's one of the options there.
Yeah. So I've never hired movers. My wife is super organized. I guess that's the best word.
Yeah.
Very, very organized. And so she spent a month before we were moving. Same thing. Donating stuff to the Goodwill, selling things, and then labeling the boxes and packing them accordingly. So much like you just said. But with a moving company, do you supply? So Christian's clients, they list their home. They call you. Do you supply the boxes?
Yeah, so we can deliver boxes. Absolutely, that's no problem. We have all sorts of boxes. We have picture frames. One-stop shopping. If you call us and say, I'm looking to move, I want to pack myself and I want you to do the move, but drop off what I need. We don't, it doesn't have to be like you tell me what you need. I know what you need as far as boxes and materials are concerned. I will just drop it off to you and then we'll just charge you later. Absolutely.
Nice. Okay.
So if there's anything left over unused and stuff, you just take it back.
You only pay for what you use. Exactly.
Okay.
So you're not left to go in on Craigslist and looking for free boxes, which is a pain, or go into U-Haul and overpaying and then having to lug all those boxes back in your car. We'll just bring it to you, leave it on your doorstep, or we can bring it in.
So this is what I know what people are listening are thinking. How much is that going to cost? And is it a better deal? Is it worth my time to go to U-Haul or Home Depot or whatever and buy the boxes myself, or does it make sense?
Right. It's not worth your time to go to U-Haul or Public Storage because that's on par with about where our prices are. We're a little bit cheaper than they are.
Plus, you'll drop it off?
Plus, we'll drop it off for you. Absolutely. No charge for the delivery. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, then you can save a little bit of money. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just on boxes.
But how much is your time worth?
Exactly.
Yeah,
right? That's the question.
Okay. There's a premium on that.
Well, since we're on price, talk to us a little about, again, this is informative for me because I've never hired a moving company.
And I wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah,
so I think you're insane.
Yeah. So tell me a little about, client is going to call you. What are they going to expect in regards to pricing options?
Yeah, so just a typical one-bedroom apartment in Seattle is going to run somewhere in the $400 to $500 range. So a typical three-bedroom house in Seattle is going to run, in the $1,500 range. It's all billed by the hour. A lot of a big portion of the bill depends on how much stuff do you have and how well packed and prepared you are for moving day. So if we get there and like with your wife, she's super organized. You've already done the Goodwill run. You've already done a dump run. Everything is sealed in boxes, ready to go. It's going to go a lot faster than if we are also taking stuff to Goodwill, which we do, and a dump run, and maybe we are providing you with an hour worth of packing before we even move anything when we get there. So that's why we have to bill by the hour, because each move will be independent. But what you will save is your friends' relationships by not having them come over and help you move your stuff.
Can I borrow your truck, Dan?
Damage your furniture, bang up your new house, right? Cold pizza, warm beer, not a good option.
Okay. So I was going to ask that. So let's say you have a client that doesn't have a truck, just wants you to take care of everything. You'll make a dump run. You'll make a Goodwill run. You'll do it all.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
One stop.
Okay.
So I know this. So I always try and treat all the people that I pay to help me out with stuff. I always try and like my yard guy, I always give him water and stuff like that. And you tip the cleaner, and then with your guys at the end, I always tried to give them beer, and they never accept it. So it's probably a good thing.
That's a great thing. I like to hear that.
Yeah. They said Adam would kill us.
Yeah,
and I was like,
right. And I will.
True. Yeah. But that's good to know that, you try to be nice and give them something that maybe they shouldn't have, and they'd probably like, because it is probably, after moving all day like that, it would probably be pretty nice. But
Yeah. Well, so since you're talking tipping, is tipping accepted? What is a
Yeah, and this is a
nice
question.
gratuity?
This is a question that we always ask everybody because the etiquette, everyone they're too embarrassed to ask.
Yeah,
and so that's why we're doing it here.
Yeah, and so I would say that tipping is always appreciated, but it's never expected. We pay our guys really well. It's not like a server that they're dependent on that tip to make up their wages.
Yeah, that's good to know.
You know, there's such a it's such a tough conversation to have with a customer, and then them have a conversation with the movers. But we do train our guys to be very, walk the line very carefully on that. We had a customer she was paying over the phone, and the employee was typing in the information on the cell phone app to run her credit card, and on Square it gives you an option of what percentage you want to tip, and she asked about tipping, and he said, well, 15% would be X and 20% would be Y, and she's like, well, I just wanted to tip him $10, and I felt like I had to tip him 20%, and so she was uncomfortable with that, and so we definitely spend a lot of time in teaching our guys, and use that experience as an opportunity to make sure everyone's on the same page. So I would say that on a small move, if you do it a one-bedroom apartment and it costs you about $500, and you have two guys there, if you tipped them $10, $20 a piece and said thank you, everyone's super happy.
Okay.
If you're doing a larger move, a 3-bedroom house, and you've got 4 guys there working all day, for example, maybe $20 to $30 per guy. But this is for you felt like everything was just awesome. So if someone's having a bad day and you don't feel like they were great for you, then it's obviously tipping for a job well done, and it's never expected again.
Yeah, and great service, a great attitude,
right?
Professional, polite, stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, Jenny and I are, and much like you and Shannon, even when a tip isn't necessarily required or the standard is such. I mean, the other day I very rarely tip at Starbucks, but it was early in the morning. It was the drive-through. I gave my debit card, and they were just so happy, and it was just awesome.
Made your day,
made me happy.
Yeah.
And so I threw a couple dollars in there, and I normally don't do that at Starbucks. I mean, it's so expensive anyways, and most of the time I have a gift card. But that's actually good information right there. So, okay, I got to ask this timeline. So let's go back to that 3-bedroom home.
Okay.
What's not timeline, but time frame?
Okay.
Is it an all-day project? Is it a 2-day project?
Right.
Hour-wise?
Yeah.
Talk to us a little about that.
So if we were hired for the packing portion, that would be day 1.
Okay.
And we'd send 3 packers, and we'd probably spend 5 or 6 hours to do a full pack.
Okay.
Now, we also scale our packing service as well. So if, say, you just want to hire us to pack your kitchen and your garage and maybe another trouble area or two, we can scale our packing service to fit what you need as well. But for the moving portion itself, we generally would send 3 guys, and that would be generally a 3/4 of a day, so 5 to 6 hour range typically.
Cool. No, that's huge. Okay, one last thing real quick. Condos and elevators. Okay? No?
Right.
Yeah?
No, it's totally fine. Everyone has, in these situations, there's elevators, there's people using the elevators, and one thing we really stress is be polite with people around you. We are in their way. They're just trying to go about their day, so be polite. If someone gets crabby with you, say, I'm really sorry, we're in your way, right? So elevators add quite a bit of time to the move, but so many of these new high-rise buildings, they all have elevators, and it's just something we have to deal with.
I've heard that some of them don't have great service elevators either, so...
Right, so we're a lot of times sharing elevators with other people that live there.
Well, I just love your approach, Adam. I love how you approach your business and how you approach the move. Gosh, this has just been... I didn't expect this, but this is awesome, man. It was such a pleasure talking with you. So here's the thing. If you're planning to move, you're not going to regret, obviously, from listening to him talk, you're not going to regret hiring Adam's Moving Service. They have an amazing reputation. They've been helping Seattleites move. You said, within a 50-mile radius, you said? 55-mile radius?
Right, exactly.
Okay, for the last 10 years. Check out their Yelp reviews. I'm infatuated by Yelp right now. It's done a lot for my business. 400, congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Kudos to that.
We know how big of a deal that is and how hard that is to get. So good job.
So as you've heard, they offer full packing assistance, full move assistance. To learn more, I want to encourage all of our listeners, all of our viewers right now on YouTube. I want you to visit their website. To learn more about Adam's Moving Service, go to adamsmovingservice.com. adamsmovingservice.com, or you can give them a call directly right now if you'd like, or this info is going to be on Seattle Real Estate Radio as well, .com as well. So 206-251-1725, and go ahead and schedule your move today. But this has just been a powerful last 25, 30 minutes. Good job, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm really
and
excited
remember, if it's the busy time of year, plan ahead 2 weeks.
Plan ahead.
All right, so we got to take a quick break. Stay tuned to Seattle Real Estate Radio after this.
Stay tuned. There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. So, Adam was pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, it's great hearing that.
He's running a good business, and I like to, obviously we like to promote people that do that, especially local businesses, and he's doing it right. Yeah, I mean, he's got a company where it's something where you don't necessarily have to have the brightest people that are in your employees, and obviously he's finding the best of the best to hire, and that's kind of a big deal. As he was leaving, I convinced him to give anybody listening today or anyone that's watching on the Seattle Real Estate Radio podcast or videocast, convinced him to give everybody a 5% discount and $100 in free packing materials if you mention Seattle Real Estate Radio or Dan and I's name, either one, whatever you remember. So when you call to schedule your stuff, your move, just mention Seattle Real Estate Radio, get a 5% discount plus $100 in free packing materials. So that's a lot of boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably most of your move, I would guess.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think so much nowadays, Christian, in our profession, real estate, lending, I don't even care. Listen to a commercial on the radio or on TV or wherever. The word quality, service, fantastic, spectacular, awesome, all of those things are abused and they're overused. And so
says the guy who's
awesome. Yeah, exactly. But you've also had that for years. I just think now you see it's your name, dude.
Yeah, well, and I can also back it up a little.
Well, and that brings me to my point. What I tell clients nowadays, I did a video the other day, and I'm actually in the process of posting it on social media, that I'm getting tired of my competitors, in which I know I know their volume, B, I know their level of service and their interest rates, when they're marketing that they're the best and that they do this and they do that, and I know they don't. And so here's the thing. Here's how to know what you're going to get. I'm going to save you the pain and the disappointment of getting poor service and not what you expected. Number one, ask for references.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're live on the air. We don't promote garbage.
Yep.
Obviously, we're picky on who we bring into the studio. You've used him, so there's a reference. Maybe ask for more twice. You have clients that have used him. We can give references. So ask for references. The other thing is go to Yelp. I tell you, you cannot write a fake review on Yelp.
No. Trust me. We have real reviews on Yelp. Like I have, I think, 12 real reviews on Yelp that don't show up because Yelp flags them because they might potentially be fake, even though they're not. They're actual clients. I can show you the purchase and sale agreement with their names on it. But that's, and you can't undo those either.
No, you can't. And Yelp is. Trust me, Yelp is, it's geo, what do you call that? It's geo, so if I'm on my phone, it's geolocated. So I'm sitting right here in the studio right behind CenturyLink. If I go to Yelp and I type in mortgage broker, it's going to find in a radius the top mortgage brokers with the best reviews, the most reviews. And so there's no way to really tweak that algorithm other than having those 5-star reviews. So go to Yelp, get recommendations, references, go to Yelp, and then ask the right questions, which we just did.
Yeah.
Tell us why somebody should, what separates you from Allied and some of these bigger companies. And I just love his story. I love the service base. I love his follow-up. I think that's huge.
So, and that's why he has 400 plus reviews on Yelp. That's insane.
Yeah.
There's not, other than like some restaurants that have been around forever.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever seen a company that has that
from
many
a
Yelp
small, and I say small because he's not a national corporate moving company.
Or even a franchise or anything.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, the average listener probably doesn't understand how important, how big that is. It's huge.
It is huge.
It's huge.
It is huge. And I mean, I don't have a ton of, compared to him, I got no reviews. I mean, I have 25 or something like that. It's not it's hard to get Yelp reviews.
It's hard. Some people think it's tougher than it is to go over there, and the ones that and I'm going to be honest with you, the ones that are using Yelp are the ones that are more, they like to express their emotions,
their frustration.
And so they can either be positive or negative. So if you get a 4.5, 5-star review over there, you've done a darn good job.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
it was
much more likely to complain on review sites than they are to praise.
Yeah.
So that's saying a lot.
Yeah, it was good having that guy on. So
yeah,
hey, take him up on the discount. I'm going to get him over on my mortgage website as well as preferred vendor. I know you're going to as well. So
we already had him on, but we're redoing our preferred vendor list right now. So
awesome.
So we're going to add him on there and feature him a little bit more.
Good.
One other thing that he mentioned is that they want to hire another 10 employees in the next 30 days, which is pretty ambitious. If anyone wants to make some quick money and not work for a moving company, he's willing to pay a bunch of money if you refer someone. So
if you know drivers, he's looking for drivers. So if you know someone that's driving and you heard how he pays his employees,
he'll give you, when they're first hired, he'll give you a $250 referral fee.
Wow.
And after their 90 days on the job, he'll give you $750.
So basically, you go out and find a great employee, and he'll give you $1,000 almost.
It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if you just if you find just someone that's going to be a mover, not a driver, he'll give you $150 when they're first hired, and after 90 days on the job, you'll get another $250.
Nice.
So, and the easy way to do that, you go to their website, adamsmovingservice.com, and they have a now hiring link. And again, he wants to get 10 people, so kind of a big deal.
Awesome.
So, you know what time it is, Dan?
I do not.
Welcome to this week's Mortgage Minute with Dan Keller.
That's what time it is.
What time it is.
What's your MLO number, Dan?
My MLO number for compliance purposes. MLO number 115349. My name is Dan Keller, and I am a mortgage advisor at New American Funding.
There you go. Compliance will be happy now.
We are 100% in compliant. So for the Mortgage Minute, today I just wanted to spend a minute talking about, interest rates have ticked up. Okay. So
are they still under 4?
Right there. Yeah. Right under-ish, right at. Okay. So you didn't miss. You didn't miss the wave. I believe, in my professional opinion, I think we're going to see, what we're finally starting to see, Christian, is a little bit of stability in oil, and S&P is up. You know, when we did that Wine and Wisdom, we brought in Matt Ross, the financial planner, and we talked about, some of the things that are happening right now with the stock market. We're starting to see a little bit of stability there and maybe some improvements over there. And so investors are pulling money out of mortgage bonds and just repositioning them over into stocks. And it's causing rates to level out and increase a little. And that's only happened over the last week and a half. Keep your eyes on, and this is the first time I've said this ever, keep your eye on Canada. Canada's not doing real well right now, economically. Their dollar, so I just know this from last summer, vacationing up at Semiahmoo. A lot of Canadians come down, it's right on the border there. And their dollar has always been worth a little bit more than the U.S. dollar.
For the last
few years. So, Well, it's flip-flopped. Now it's back down to like when I was in college. There's a delta of 28 cents, I guess. So
wow.
Oil is throwing them for a little bit of a wrinkle up there.
So we should go to Vancouver and live like rock stars.
That's it. Let's go party.
Because that's totally what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So Canada's in the news. China, obviously. We've got some talks, in Korea and China about nuclear weapons. Just keep your eyes and ears on that. But I think
we're that one's going to be pretty easy to keep our ears open.
But here's the thing, man. Nobody's paying attention to it because of the presidential. Everyone's focusing on, Trump and the Republican Party and the disaster of the candidates.
Yeah.
Hey, open your eyes. There's things going on over there.
There's some world news heading our way.
And nobody's paying attention to it. So I don't want to get on a tangent there. But hey, rates have plateaued, increased a little. Let's watch that. Obviously, I'll be back next Monday with an update, but a lot's happening.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I had fun today.
Yeah.
Did you have fun today?
I think it was
very educational.
I don't want to say that don't expect greatness out of every single one of our guests because I know they're great people.
Yeah.
But I love it. I don't care if I'm getting a Starbucks and I'm super impressed with service, or if I'm going to Home Depot and the person was just very helpful. Adam was awesome.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Really good.
Really impressed. I knew he was going to be good.
Yep.
But he was great. And
No,
I
I
think
agree.
today's show was great.
I think he taught our listeners and taught us some well-needed and much-needed information when it comes to movers.
Tips.
Some good tips.
Yeah, I've never hired a mover, and I learned a lot. So,
I mean,
I will hire a mover next time.
Yes, you will.
And I will also hire an awesome Nossum next time, because I didn't 4 years ago, and I should have.
That's right, Dan. So, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. This is Seattle Real Estate Radio. I am Christian Nossum with the awesome Nossum Group at Wilson Realty. And that, my friends, is Dan Keller with New American Funding. Stay tuned. We'll be back next Monday, 3 o'clock.
To contact the show or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.